They said silver was slow. They said it was boring. They said the real money was somewhere else. And yet today, silver just smashed past $109, an all-time high. Not a rumor, not a prediction. A moment in history happening right now. And the real question isn't how high it went. The real question is whether 110 is the ceiling sit or the launch pad. Because every once in a generation, a quiet asset stops whispering and starts roaring. And when that happens, the people who were patient don't just make money, they change their lives. I want you to imagine something for a second. 10 years ago, a school teacher in Texas started buying one silver coin every month. Nothing flashy, no trading screens, no stress, just discipline. Friends laughed at him, told him it was old-fashioned, told him he was wasting time. But he kept stacking, month after month, year after year. Today, that quiet habit paid off his house, gave him freedom, gave him choices. While others were chasing hype, he was building wealth brick by brick. And that's what silver has always been, not a lottery ticket, a foundation. Right now, you're watching history repeat itself. Every major wealth cycle begins when the crowd ignores something simple. Gold did it, real estate did it, Bitcoin did it, and now silver is stepping into the spotlight. Here's the first truth most people learn too late. Wealth isn't built in excitement, it's built in patience. The rich don't chase what's loud. They position where value is quietly growing. Silver isn't just a metal, it's money with memory. It's been trusted for thousands of years. It survives inflation. It outlasts crashes. And when currencies weaken, silver doesn't beg for value. It becomes value. A young entrepreneur in Asia understood this during a market crash. While stocks were falling and panic was spreading, he converted part of his profits into silver bars. Everyone thought he was crazy. 2 years later, when inflation hit and prices exploded, his silver doubled. That one decision protected his business and funded his expansion. Smart investors don't react. They prepare. And right now, silver is sending a message. Here's something powerful most people don't realize. Silver is one of the few assets that is both money and necessity. It's in solar panels, electric cars, medical equipment, technology. The future literally runs on silver. Demand keeps rising while supply struggles to keep up. When something becomes rare and essential at the same time, price doesn't climb slowly. It moves suddenly. That's how wealth gaps are created. Another story. A father of 3 started buying small amounts of silver instead of wasting money on subscriptions and impulse purchases. 5 years later, he sold a portion during a price spike and paid for his children's education. Not luck, discipline. See the pattern? Small, consistent actions create massive outcomes. Most people wait for perfect timing. Wealthy people start with imperfect action. Right now, you don't need to be rich to buy silver, but one day soon, you might need to be rich to afford it. That's the difference between early and late. Here's where mindset changes everything. Stop thinking like a spender. Start thinking like a builder. Every ounce of silver is a soldier working for your future. Every purchase is a step away from stress, away from paycheck panic, toward freedom. Instead of asking, is it too late? Ask, how early am I compared to the masses? Because when headlines finally scream silver everywhere, that's usually when smart money is already positioned. Practical move number 1. Build a stacking habit. Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Whatever you can afford consistently. Move number 2. Think long-term, not quick flips. Real wealth comes from holding strong assets through cycles. Move number 3. Diversify smart. Silver alongside savings, business income, and growth investments create stability most people never achieve. And the most important shift, stop waiting for permission. Every financially free person you admire started before it felt comfortable. Right now, silver isn't just rising in price, it's rising in importance. This moment isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about building a future where money stress doesn't control your life, where emergencies don't scare you, where opportunities don't pass you by because you're broke. Silver is giving everyday people a rare second chance to position like the wealthy always have. And whether 110 is a pause or a launch doesn't matter as much as one thing. You were here when it happened. You're early enough to act. You're smart enough to prepare, and disciplined enough to change your future. So if this opened your eyes, hit like so more people can wake up to what's happening. Subscribe for real wealth mindset and smart investing strategies. Share this with someone who needs a financial breakthrough. Because silver isn't just smashing records, it's creating the next generation of financially free people. And that generation could be you. Most people never get wealthy because they wait for excitement to give them permission. They wait for headlines to scream. They wait for everyone else to agree something is valuable. But real wealth is almost always built quietly, when an opportunity feels slow, boring, and unimportant. That's how silver has always worked. It moves patiently while the world chases noise. Then one day it wakes up and reminds everyone why it has been real money for thousands of years. Every empire that collapsed left behind gold and silver still holding value, still trusted, still powerful, while paper promises disappeared. Smart investors understand this cycle. They don't rush when prices are low because they're scared. They don't panic when prices rise because they planned for it. They position early, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. There was a man who worked a normal factory job, nothing special, no big salary, no inheritance. But he had one habit that changed his life. Every payday, before spending on anything else, he bought a small amount of silver. Sometimes it was a coin, sometimes a bar, sometimes just what he could afford. His coworkers laughed, saying silver was old-fashioned, saying stocks were cooler, saying crypto was faster, but he didn't stop. Year after year, he stacked while others spent. When inflation surged and living costs exploded, his silver rose with it. While others struggled, he had assets growing quietly in the background. Eventually, he sold a portion to start a small business, and that business replaced his job income. This is the power of thinking long-term in a short-term world. Silver teaches patience, and patience builds power. When you own something real, something limited, something the world actually needs, you're not guessing anymore. You're positioning. Silver isn't just a store of wealth, it's used in technology, clean energy, medicine, and electronics. Every solar panel, every electric vehicle, every modern device depends on it. Demand keeps climbing while mining struggles to keep pace. That imbalance is what pushes prices higher over time, not hype, not social media trends, but real-world necessity. Most people only notice when it's already expensive. Smart people notice when it's still building momentum. They understand that wealth doesn't come from timing the exact bottom, but from starting before the crowd feels safe. Each ounce becomes a brick in a financial wall that protects your future. Each purchase is a vote for discipline over impulse, for ownership over consumption, for freedom over stress. This is how everyday people quietly become financially strong while the world stays distracted. One of the biggest mindset shifts wealthy people make is understanding the difference between price and value. Price moves every day, but value grows over time. Silver's value isn't just in what it costs right now, it's in what it protects you from. Inflation, currency weakness, economic uncertainty, and the slow loss of purchasing power that destroys savings. While most people keep money sitting in accounts that quietly lose value every year, smart investors convert a portion of their income into real assets that can't be printed, diluted, or manipulated. That's why during every major financial crisis in history, precious metals didn't disappear. They became more important. There was a young couple who watched their parents struggle during an economic downturn. Jobs were lost, savings were wiped out, stress filled the house. They promised themselves they would build differently. When they started earning, they didn't wait to be rich. They started small, buying silver regularly, learning about markets, and staying consistent even when prices moved slowly. Years later, when inflation hit and living costs soared, their silver holdings had grown enough to cover emergencies, opportunities, and even a down payment on a home. While others were borrowing, they were buying assets. Silver also teaches emotional control. When markets are loud and chaotic, people panic. They sell low. They chase high. But silver rewards calm behavior. It trains you to think in years instead of days, in ownership instead of speculation. This mindset carries into business, career growth, and life decisions. People who build wealth through patient investing tend to make smarter choices everywhere else. Another powerful strategy is using silver as financial insurance. You don't put out a fire after the house burns down. You prepare before it happens. Holding physical silver means you own something outside the system, something that holds purchasing power when everything else feels unstable. It gives confidence. It gives security. It gives options. And in the world of money, options are what separate those who struggle from those who thrive. What separates people who achieve financial freedom from those who stay stuck isn't luck, intelligence, or perfect timing. It's consistency. The wealthy understand that small actions done repeatedly beat big actions done once. Silver fits perfectly into this principle because it allows ordinary people to participate in real asset ownership without needing massive capital. You don't have to wait for a bonus, an inheritance, or the perfect market crash. You start where you are, with what you have, and you build momentum over time. That momentum quietly compounds into strength. There was a woman running a small online business who decided to treat silver like a savings account she couldn't easily spend. Instead of letting profits sit in cash, she converted a portion into silver every month. Some months were great, some were slow, but the habit never broke. Over several years, those ounces turned into a substantial reserve of wealth. When a major opportunity came to expand her business, she sold part of her silver and scaled faster than competitors who were stuck waiting for loans or investors. What looked like a simple habit became her growth engine. Silver also creates psychological discipline. When you own tangible wealth, you become more mindful about spending. Impulse buys feel less attractive when you're focused on building assets. You start asking better questions. Will this help my future or just satisfy today? This shift alone changes financial outcomes dramatically. Another smart approach is viewing silver as a long-term wealth anchor. Markets will rise and fall, trends will come and go, but real assets remain. Holding silver through cycles builds resilience. It gives peace of mind during downturns and strength during booms. It allows you to take calculated risks in business, career, and investing because you're not starting from zero. Wealth isn't built by chasing every opportunity. It's built by committing to a few strong strategies and staying with them. Silver isn't just an investment, it's a system for building discipline, protection, and long-term financial independence.